This channel is dedicated to growing decentralized sovereign men. To achieve that goal, it's important to understand who we truly are. In this video, I want to introduce to you the concept of your legal fiction. This is not legal advice, it's merely giving you a pathway to a higher state of consciousness, and the intention is to help you understand what is truly going on. Take a deep breath and don't be afraid to pause this video and rewind and rewatch the parts that you need to. Let's dive in. So I want you to imagine walking into a coffee shop and there's this dude on a sofa sipping that hot, fresh black Americana, and you walk over and you introduce yourself and this guy tells you his name is Bogner Johannesburg. You think, wow, that's a strange name, but as the conversation grows, you really start to like this guy. He then starts talking about a business idea that resonates with you and he wants you to become an investor in the project. In other words, he wants to do commerce with you. Would you be comfortable exchanging money with this guy that you don't know that you've just met until he proves his identity to you? Probably not, and you'd likely want to see some proof that he is who he says he is. You'd at least want some way of reducing the liability and making this more likely to be a legitimate deal. So you ask him for his identification, he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out his driving license. There it says in all capitals, Bogner Johannesburg. And you think to yourself, thank God, it really is him. But is that really the case? Really what you've just found is his legal fiction. The picture might look like him, the name matches the one that he just gave, and he probably thinks that that is who he is. But if we were to take away that identification card, who's to say that that really is who he is? If you looked over his body, would you find a stamp or a mark that indicated he was Bogner? Unless he's a very strange dude, you wouldn't. Instead, you'd see a man made of flesh and blood. The name that he's using is fictional because it was one day made up. He didn't come out of the womb with a tag on saying, I'm Bogner. Instead, he was given that name by his parents, more than likely his parents. But what happens next is the Matrix takes this name, it turns it into all capitals, and it creates your legal fiction, which is actually a corporation. We are assigned this name at birth against our will because this is how we are entered into the commercial game. And if you don't think this is happening, go check any important document that you received from the government, from an insurance company, any corporation, and it's more likely than not you'll see your name, but it will be all capitals. And this is to distinguish your corporation, your legal fiction name, from your flesh and blood real name. So why are you assigned a legal fiction corporation name from birth, and why is it in all capitals? Well, without this, it would be very, very difficult for us to do commerce with each other. Without having this identification number or name, it's very difficult to track transactions, and it's very difficult to hold people to legal standards. Equally, without a trackable legal fiction, it's very, very difficult to tax you as a flesh and blood human. Like, what would they be taxing? Having a legal fiction corporation name also makes you much more trackable, and the activities that you do in the commercial game are much easier to monitor. There are several other implications and outcomes that come from the fact that we are assigned a legal fiction and turned into a corporation at birth, against our will, may I add. But they are subjects for another video, so subscribe for that. For now, I want to leave you with this question. Who are you other than who you were told you are? In my opinion, that question is a real thinker. And on the surface level, what I've just shared in this video may seem very obvious or straightforward and necessary. And there are, of course, benefits to having a legal fiction. But if you really start to go a few layers deeper, don't just scratch the surface, meditate on this question and really start to think about the implications, it could be the thing that sets you on that pathway to evolving into a truly sovereign man. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Grown Men, and I've been, realistically, whoever you think I am. Peace.